Hello everyone, if you are studying IGCSE Computer Science 0478 Paper 1, this video series will help you revise each topic more easily. We'll go through chapters 1 to 6, practice questions like those from the past papers. This will help you understand the types of questions you will see in the exam and how to answer them. These videos are designed to support your learning, build your confidence, and help you to get best grades you can. So let's get started and make your revision count. In this session, we'll be reviewing past paper questions on key topics such as the internet and the World Wide Web, requesting and retrieving web pages, purpose of web browser, and digital currencies. So let's get started. Topic 31, the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet. Question 346, explain the term internet. The internet is a global network of interconnected networks using TCP/IP to transmit data. It's a wide area network or WAN. It provides a variety of resources and services such as the World Wide Web and email. Question 347, state what is meant by an ISP. ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. It's a company that provides access to the internet. The World Wide Web. Question 349. Define the World Wide Web. It's a system of interlinked hypertext documents accessed via the internet. It uses protocols such as HTTP or HTTPS to transmit data. It consists of web pages and multimedia content hosted on web servers. Question 350. A company has a website. Users use the internet and the World Wide Web to access the website. Describe the difference between the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet is the infrastructure that connects computers globally. The World Wide Web is a collection of web pages accessed via the internet. Question 351. Which protocol is used to access websites on the World Wide Web? Option A, FTP. Option B, HTTP. Option C, SMTP. Option B, IP. So the correct answer is option B, HTTP. Question 352, state one difference between the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet is a physical network. The World Wide Web is a collection of web pages. The internet uses IP addresses. The World Wide Web uses URLs. The internet uses many protocols. The World Wide Web uses HTTP or HTTPS. Question 353, discuss the impact of the World Wide Web on education and learning. Positive impacts. Provides instant access to information and learning resources. Enable online learning platform and virtual classrooms. Promotes independent research and self-paced learning. Facilitates global collaboration and sharing of academic content. Negative impacts. Information may be inaccurate or misleading. Students may become distracted by entertainment content. Risk of plagiarism and over-reliance on online sources. Not all students have equal access to devices and the internet. URL. State what is meant by a uniform resource locator or URL. A uniform resource locator is a text-based address of a specific resource on the internet. Question 356. Describe the function of a URL. A URL is the address used to access specific resources on the World Wide Web. It contains protocol, domain name, and a path to the resource. It allows the web browsers to locate and retrieve a web page. The components of a URL. A URL has three components. Number one is protocol. Number two is domain name. And number three is called web page or file name. Question 358. The website has a uniform resource locator. The URL has three different parts. Identify the three different parts that are included in the URL. Number one, protocol. Number two, domain name. Number three, file name or a web page name. IP address. Question 360, state what is meant by an IP address. It's a unique address that identifies a device on a network using the internet protocol. Question 361, describe what is meant by a dynamic IP address. It's an IP address that is assigned temporarily. An IP address that is assigned each time a device connects to a network. An IP address that is leased for a limited period. An IP address that changes periodically. Question 362. A computer on a network is assigned an IP address. Describe what is meant by static IP address. A static IP address is a permanent IP address. It does not change. It is used for servers. Question 363. Describe the characteristics of an IPv4 address. Number one, it is identity-based with numbers between 0 to 255. It is 32-bit address. It has 4 groups of numbers separated by dots. It is a unique address. It can be static or dynamic. It can be public or private. Question 364. Describe two differences between IPv4 and IPv6. IPv4 is usually written as denary. IPv4 is separate using dots. IPv4 is a 32-bit address. IPv4 is 4 groups of digits. IPv4 digits are between 0 and 255. IPv4, all zeros are displayed. IPv4 has fewer available unique addresses. IPv6 usually written as hexadecimal. IPv6 is separated using colons. IPv6 is 128 bits. IPv6 is 8 groups of digits. IPv6 digits are between 0000 and FFF. IPv6 can use double colon to replace repeated groups of zeros. IPv6 has more available unique addresses. MAC address. Question 366. A computer can have both MAC address and IP address. Gives two similarities between MAC address and IP address. Number one, they are both unique addresses. Number two, they can both be used to identify a device on a network. Number three, they are both assigned to hardware. They can both be represented as hexadecimal. Question 367. A network technician is troubleshooting connectivity issue on a local area network. Give two differences between MAC address and IP address that would be relevant to their troubleshooting. Number one, a MAC address is assigned by a manufacturer, whereas an IP address is assigned by a router. Number two, a MAC address is represented as hexadecimal, whereas an IP address can sometimes be represented as numeric, like binary. And in some cases, it is also represented as hexadecimal, like in IPv6. Number three, a MAC address is normally static, whereas an IP address can be dynamic. Number four, a MAC address has 6 group of digits, whereas an IP address has 4 or 8 group. Number five, a MAC address is 6 byte, 48 bits, whereas an IP address is 4 or 16 byte, 32 or 128 bits. Question 368. A network technician is troubleshooting a connectivity issue with a newly installed network card. Identify the type of address that is allocated to the component by the manufacturer, which is used to uniquely identify the device. So that address is called the Media Access Control or MAC address. Topic 32, requesting and retrieving web pages, DNS. Question 371. State what is meant by DNS. DNS stands for Domain Name System, and it translates domain name to IP addresses. Question 372. A user types a URL into a web browser's address bar. Describe the steps that browser takes to obtain the corresponding IP address. Number one, the browser sends the request to a DNS server. Number two, the DNS server look up the URL. Number three, the DNS server finds the corresponding IP address. And number four, the DNS server sends the IP address back to the browser. Question 373. Draw and annotate a diagram to show how a web browser requests an IP address from DNS server and how the DNS server responds to the request. So step number one, web browser sends the URL to the DNS server. DNS searches for the domain name to find its equivalent IP address. Once it finds, it sends the IP address back to the web browser. Let's take another example. In this example, browser sends the URL to the DNS server, but the first DNS server does not have that address. So now, in this case, this DNS server will send that URL to the next DNS server. The next DNS server found the IP address of that URL, and it sent that IP address back to the web browser. Question 374. Student enters a uniform resource locator into their web browser. Draw and annotate the diagram to show the process from the user entering the URL to the web browser displaying the web page. Protocols. Question 376. State two protocols used when accessing the website on www. The number one is HTTP or hypertext transfer protocol, and number two is HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol secure. Question 377. Mario has a website that he uses to sell his artwork. The website uses HTTPS to transmit data. Describe what is meant by HTTPS. Number one, it's a secure protocol. Number two, stands for hypertext transfer protocol secure. It is a set of rules for data transmission. It combines HTTP and SSL/TLS to transmit data. It encrypts the data for transmission. Question 378. State the purpose of hypertext transfer protocol and explain why it is important for accessing the web pages. Number one, to transfer web pages from a web server to the web browser. Number two, it allows users to access and view resources on the World Wide Web. Question 379. State one difference between HTTP and HTTPS protocol. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. HTTP encrypts data transmitted between client and the server, while the HTTP does not encrypt data. Question 380. A banking website uses HTTP protocol. State one reason why this is not a secure method of transferring data. Number one, data is sent in plain text. Number two, data is unencrypted. Number three, data can be intercepted. Number four, data can be understood if intercepted. Question 381. A small online business, Crafty Creations, needs to securely transmit customers' order details and payment information over the internet to their bank. Identify an alternative protocol beside the one commonly used HTTPS that could be used for secure transmission of this data. So the answer is Transport Layer Security, or TLS. Question 382. An art gallery has a website that is used to display and sell art. The gallery uses Secure Socket Layer SSL to provide a secure connection when selling art. Describe the process of SSL and how it provides a secure connection. Number one, the user enters the website address into the web browser. The web browser requests access to the website. The web server sends the SSL certificate to the web browser. The browser checks the certificate is valid. The browser sends a session key to the web server. The web server decrypts it. All data transmitted is then encrypted using the session key. Question 383. State what is meant by the term SSL. It's a protocol used to provide a secure connection between a web browser and a server. It encrypts data transferred between them and uses digital certificates to authenticate the server's identity. Question 384. Describe how an SSL connection is established. Number one, the client requests a connection to the server. The server sends a copy of its SSL certificate. The client verifies the certificate is valid. The client sends a symmetric session key encrypted with the server's public key. The server decrypts the session key using its private key. The server sends an acknowledgement to the client encrypted with the session key. Encrypted communication can begin using the session key. Question 385. The SSL protocol can be used to securely transmit data in online banking. State three other different applications that use SSL. Number one, online shopping. Number two, secure website browsing. Number three, secure email communication. Number four, secure file transfer. Number five, virtual private networks. Question 386. A student types the URL, this one, into their browser. Describe the process that occurs to display the page. Number one, browser extracts the domain name from the URL. Number two, contacts a DNS server to resolve the domain into an IP address. Number three, establish a connection with the web server via HTTPS. Number four, sends a GET request for a page1.html. Server returns the HTML page and link resources, example images and CSS. Browser interprets and renders the content for display. Question 387. The web browser requests a web page and renders the HTML and CSS. So here's a diagram to show how a web browser requests and renders the HTML. Step number one, user type a URL into the web browser. Web browser sends the URL to a DNS server to get the IP address. The DNS server sends the IP address back to the web browser. The web browser uses the IP address to request the web server to send the page. Sends the HTML and CSS, the browser render and display the page on the screen. Question 388. Use a diagram to show how a browser requests a digital certificate to allow encrypted data transmission. Step number one, browser send the URL to the DNS server. DNS server send the IP address back to the web browser. Web browser use the IP address to request for the digital certificate from the server. Server sends the certificate. Browser verifies the certificate. If the certificate is authentic, it then requests the web server to send XYZ page. The server sends the page resources, let's say HTML and CSS. Browser render those resources and display the web page. Topic 33. The purpose of a web browser. Question 390. The student uses a web browser to access the data on the internet. Explain the purpose of the web browser. Number one, to translate HTML code of a web page into a readable format. Number two, to allow the user to view web pages. Number three, to send requests to web server to access web pages. Number four, to display text, images, and other resources from the internet. Question 391. Bob is a student who uses the internet. The table contains 5 terms or definitions that relate to the internet. Complete the table by writing each missing term or definition. Number one, browser. So it's an application that allows the user to view web pages. Number two, this is the company that provides the user with the connection to the internet, so that is ISP or Internet Service Provider. HTTP or HTTPS. This is the protocol that is used to send data for web pages across the internet. A text-based version of a web address, so that is URL or Uniform Resource Locator. And the last term is cookie. So what is a cookie? A text file stored by a web browser that contains data about a user's browsing habit, details, or preferences. Question 392. Functions of a web browser. So number one, it has an address bar. Number two, it renders HTML. Number three, it has navigation tools. Number four, it can download files. Number five, it can store cookies. Number six, storing bookmarks. Number 7, storing passwords. Number 8, recording the history. So these are the 8 functions of a web browser. Question 393. A student uses the internet for their schoolwork. Storing cookies is one function of a web browser. Give 3 other functions of a web browser. So number 1, displaying web pages. Number 2, maintaining history for visited websites. Number 3, allowing the user to create bookmarks or favorites. Number 4, sending and receiving cookies. Number 5, providing security feature. Example, warning about unsafe websites. Question 394. German uses SSL protocol for secure transmission when sending data using the internet. Explain how the SSL protocol secures the data for transmission. Number 1, it enables an encrypted connection between the browser and the web server. Number 2, it encrypts the data based on the authentication of an SSL certificate. Question 395. Storing cookies is one function of the web browser. Give 3 other functions of the web browser. Number 1, displaying web pages. Number 2, multitabs. Number 3, storing history of visited websites. Number 4, allowing users to create bookmarks or favorites. Number 5, sending and receiving cookies. And number 6, providing security using SSL or TLS. Question 396. The student uses the web browser to access the data on the internet. Explain the purpose of the web browser: to allow the user to display web pages, to translate HTML code into a readable format, to send requests to a web server, and to receive the information from web servers. Question 397. Addie is concerned about the security of her online banking. Describe how a browser checks that a website is secure. Number 1, checks for valid digital certificate. Number 2, verifies the certificate was issued by a trusted certificate authority or CA. Checks that the website URL matches the domain name on the certificate. Ensure the certificate has not expired. Look for HTTPS in the URL. Cookies. Question 399. A student visits a website that uses session cookies instead of persistent cookies. Explain the difference between session cookies and persistent cookies. Session cookies are temporary and are deleted when the browser is closed. Persistent cookies remain on the computer for a set period of time. Session cookies are used to track user activity within a single visit to a website. Persistent cookies are used to remember the user preferences or login details for future visits. Question 400. A student visits a website that uses session cookies instead of persistent cookies. Explain the difference between session cookies and persistent cookies. Session cookies. These cookies are temporary and are stored in the computer's memory only for the duration of a user browsing session. They are deleted when the user closes the web browser. Persistent cookies. These cookies remain on the user computer, specifically on the hard drive, for a specified period, even after the browser is closed. The duration is determined by the website that created the cookie. Question 401. 4 statements about cookies are shown in the table. Tick to show which statement is true or false. Statement 1. They are from spyware. That is false. They are used only in advertising. No, they are used to track browser use. Yes, that's true. They act in the same way as a virus. So that is also false. Question 402. A website informs a user that it uses cookies. Explain what is meant by the term cookie. A cookie is a small text file that a website stores on the user's computer. It contains data about the user. The data is used to identify returning users. The data is used to customize the website. The data is used for targeted advertising. Question 403. A website uses cookies to store data about users' browsing activity. Give 2 examples of how a website might use cookies. Number 1, to keep track of items in a user's shopping cart. Number 2, to remember user login details. Number 3, to record user preferences. Number 4, to track pages visited by the user. Question 404. Complete the statements about cookies. Cookies are small text files that are sent between a server and a client. Dash cookies are stored in the memory and not in the user's secondary storage. Session cookies are stored in memory and not in the user's secondary storage. When the web browser is closed, a session cookie is lost, whereas a persistent cookie is not lost. Question 405. So here is a diagram showing how the session cookies are stored on the user computer. User visits the web page that is stored on a web server. The session cookies are sent from the web server to the user's web browser, and these are stored temporarily. Question 406 is a diagram to show how persistent cookies are stored. User visits the web page that is stored on a web server. Persistent cookies are sent from the web server to the user's web browser. Persistent cookies are permanently stored by the user's web browser until the user or the web browser deletes them. Persistent cookies are sent to the web server every time the user visits the web page. Topic 34. digital currency. Question 408. State what is meant by the term digital currency. Give one example of digital currency. A digital currency is a money available in digital form. Examples are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Litecoin. Question 409. State two advantages and two disadvantages of using digital currency compared to traditional currency. Advantages: faster transactions, lower transaction fees. Disadvantages: security risk, volatility in value. Question 410. State what is meant by a blockchain. Explain how a blockchain is used to maintain a secure and transparent record for transactions in context of digital currency. A blockchain is distributed public ledger. Each transaction is grouped into a block. Each block contains a hash of the previous block. This creates a chain of blocks. The distributed nature means many copies of the blockchain exist. If one copy is altered, it will not match with others. This makes tampering evident. Cryptography secures the transactions. This ensures transparency and prevent frauds. Question 411. State what is meant by a digital ledger. A digital ledger is a decentralized database that is shared across a network of computers. Question 412. A digital currency uses cryptography for security and operates independently of a central bank. State what is meant by decentralized in terms of digital currency. Decentralized means no single authority controls the currency. Transactions are verified by multiple users. It is distributed across a network. It is resistant to censorship. Question 413. Draw a diagram to show how a blockchain keeps a digital ledger of transactions. User sends payment using a type of digital currency called a cryptocurrency. The data is encrypted before it is sent. The details of payments are added to the ledger, including a digital signature, time and date stamp. The data is stored for the digital ledger is encrypted and cannot be changed. The payment arrives with the intended user and only exists electronically. Question 414. Complete the description of digital currencies using the term provided. A digital currency does not exist physically. It can only be accessed electronically. Some digital currencies have digital ledger called blockchains. These are decentralized databases where each transaction is stored as a new set of data with a timestamp and is linked to the previous set of data. This means that transactions cannot be altered, only new transactions added, which allow the location of the data to be traced.